In this video, I'll not only show you the best way to fix your E-Series van if you have the air stuck in the floor in the defrost mode, but I'll also teach you how the system works and why this fixes it to begin with. If you just want to get your E-Series back blowing cold air through the vents, then just watch the first part where I'll show you exactly how to fix this and what I think is the absolute best way to fix it. But if you'd actually like to understand the system and how it works and why this fixes it, then continue watching to the end. There's nothing worse than, as a problem solver, as an engineer, having steps of how to fix something but not really understanding why it fixes the problem or how the system works to begin with. So I'll go through a really high level overview of how the heating and air system works on a Ford E-Series van and why this fixes the problem to begin with, and why it's okay to bypass the system that came from the factory and why that is the best way to fix this. So to do this repair, you'll need the actual heat or AC reservoir, a check valve to connect just beside that, a length of tubing. This is about 10 feet of 1/8 inch. I purchased two different sizes because I wasn't exactly sure what it is, but 1/8 inch is what you want. And for whatever reason, the reservoir came in this box that says power steering reservoir. It's clearly not, so maybe this was a return. Even the label says it's a power steering reservoir, but it's clearly a heat and air reservoir, so I'm not sure why it came in that box, but this is the part you need. I'll put affiliate links to all these parts down in the description so you know exactly what to pick up. This is the first part where we'll be disconnecting and intercepting this vacuum tubing. You can see it runs down to the intake manifold. It's the red vacuum tubing, but it's protected in this outer, more rigid housing. And from there, there's a little joint or union where you can disassemble it, and then it runs over under all the other heating and air components. And you can see there's a lot of really rigid tubing here related to this. I've even heard people say you have to like empty the refrigerant in order to take this apart. We're clearly not doing that. On the inside, in the passenger side foot, you have the other portion where you're going to disassemble it, where it goes through the firewall. There's another joint where you can take this apart, and you see that vacuum tubing goes up to the controls for the heating and air. That'll be the 2 points that we're going to disassemble and put in this bypass mode. And really what you're trying to achieve is just this vacuum tubing that's coming off the intake manifold that you see here in red. You're just trying to get from it, bypass the reservoir and the check valve that have failed in the engine compartment, and just get back to the tubing in the foot of the passenger side. And so you technically could just go through the side of the engine compartment here. I've seen people drill holes through there, but I really didn't want any of the fumes or anything coming off the engine and drilling holes through that. So I'm just trying to find the easiest way that I can get from the top of the intake manifold over to the foot, and I found this fender well right here is the best way to do that. So the first time I saw a guy recommend this, I thought he was going to run it through the door and actually shut the door on it. But it turns out there's a really nice rubber grommet right here on the side that you can pop out and then drill a hole through and run your vacuum tubing through that. And then it's protected in the fender well and goes right in through that rubber grommet and pops out through this hole here on the inside. It's really just ideal for getting right down to the bottom where you need to reconnect to your vacuum tubing. And you've got some great storage spaces up in there for your canister. And so this rubber grommet just pops right out. You can pull that out and then drill a hole through it, and now you've got access directly into the passenger side foot where you want to end up storing your canister and your check valve anyway. Once you have your grommet out, you can drill through it pretty easily. It's really soft rubber, so just be very gentle here. But I just drilled through it to get the hole started, and then I just took a razor or cutting knife after that and trimmed off the excess that I needed. I wanted to try to keep a tight fit so it would really seal up the hole coming through the fender there, so I don't have any other fumes or outside air or anything leaking through. But it was a really nice tight fit, and I was really happy with how it turned out. Now the question is, how do you get the vacuum tubing through the fender well up to the point where you want to run it inside of the van? And I found this flexible rod that I have for running cable to be so incredibly helpful. I've used it for a number of years for running Ethernet cable into the house, through behind drywall or anything like that where you have a need to push something through. You could just use a coat hanger, but this is very flexible and it has really nice attachment points on the end where you can just take the tubing that you want to run and stick it through this loop and then pull it back down, and it kind of holds the tubing as it pulls through, so you don't have to wrap a bunch of tape around it and make it all sticky trying to pull it through with a coat hanger or something else. So I found these to be incredibly helpful. There's several of them, so you can tie them together to go 3 feet, 5 feet, however long you need to go depending on what kit you buy. But I found all the attachment points on the end really helpful as well for pulling tube or pulling wire, anything you need through a tight space. And so this works out really well for getting it through the fender well. You can see it's through, but it's a little low. I actually need to be just above the hinge there on the door, but thankfully the kit comes with a lot of different attachment points, and I have one here that's a hook shape, which I can use to just reach down through the door and fish it out and get it right to where I need it to be. I pushed the vacuum tubing through the grommet and then reconnected it back inside of the fender well off camera, but now you can just pull whatever excess tubing you need to get enough slack inside of the foot here. The other portion of the tubing that's going up to the controls, you can just gently tug it back through the firewall and it will separate and come back in, and now you've got a nice fitting which you can use to tie directly to your check valve. The check valve is directional, so you want to make sure that the black side is the side that you hook up to the tubing coming from your engine that's supplying the vacuum or supplying the suction. I wasn't really sure where I was going to mount this, but for whatever reason there is a perfect bolt sticking out of the firewall there that seems to be serving no purpose otherwise, and the side of the canister has a tab sticking off of it with a hole that slides perfectly over top of that bolt. So you can just work it up in there, get it slid over the bolt, and then don't even bother putting a nut on the back side of it. It just kind of holds itself in place just because it's such a tight fit with the threads and going through the hole and it being the right diameter, that it really works super great for holding this reservoir up out of the way and protected in the foot area of the passenger side here. Now that it's securely mounted, you just want to connect the canister to the side port of the check valve, and you can do that with just a short piece of the same tubing that you ran earlier. So just cut a piece to length and then connect everything up and tuck your tubing out of the way so it doesn't get kicked or damaged. Back up in the engine compartment, you just want to run the vacuum tubing kind of similar path to where the other tubing was, the existing factory tubing, and then connect it to the port coming off the red tubing from the intake manifold. And I just took a little piece of electrical tape and wrapped the existing tubing up to the new tubing that I ran, just so I didn't lose it and it didn't fall down into the engine in case I ever wanted to reuse that in the future or do anything with it. So you can do something similar just to kind of securely mount this up in your engine compartment so it's not moving around. And now the moment of truth. Let's start it up and see if the air blows through the vents like it should. And thankfully, I'm getting really cold air blowing through the vents. It's not blowing through the floor. It's not defaulting to my defrost. And if I switch it over to floor, it does switch over to floor like you would expect it to. It starts blowing out through the floor down here at the bottom, and then if I switch it back to max AC, it starts back blowing through the vents again. And most importantly is the rear. I am getting air through the vents at the top of the rear, and it's not blowing the heat during the middle of the summer, which is fantastic. So now, if you'd like, let's go through an explanation of how this system all works together. So the way the air control system works on a Ford E-Series van is through a vacuum system. And when you hear vacuum, just think suction power. Essentially, again, this is a super high level, simplified version of how this works. But essentially, you've got your controls and you want the air to either blow through the vent, through the floor, through the defrost. And there's an actuator, and when you think actuator, just think like a lever or a switch that by default is being pulled back into the defrost mode. So I got like a spring representing that here. It defaults to defrost mode. So if you're doing nothing, it wants to be in defrost mode. But the way you pull it over to vent mode is through suction power or through a vacuum. So there's a vacuum hose that runs from this actuator, and it gets its suction power from the engine, specifically from the intake manifold on top of the engine. So there's a red vacuum hose that we saw earlier in the video that's providing that suction power, pulling from the engine to pull this back over to vent when you ask it to. It then uses that suction to pull it back over to vent. There's some other components in the middle that really create the issue, and that's the part that I think is super helpful to understand, because then you can understand the best option for where to relocate this and why the components are necessary. So in the middle of this system, there's a check valve, and a check valve is nothing more than just a one direction valve that only allows air or water, fluid, whatever, to only flow in one direction. So this check valve only allows the suction that the engine's providing to come this way. If the engine stops sucking, the check valve doesn't allow the air to rush back into the system. It just stops it so that the air can't go back out. And then off this check valve is a reservoir, which is nothing more than just a hollow box that can store vacuum pressure. So I'm going to draw some arrows pointing inward like this to represent storing that vacuum pressure. The reason that's needed is because when you accelerate, your engine stops providing the suction power that it was providing before, and it uses that stored up potential suction power that's in here to continue pulling on this actuator to keep it in the vent position. And so that's how I first started this, seeing this problem, was when I would accelerate, my AC would switch over to floor, and I would feel the cold air start blowing out through the floor because this actuator is kind of slowly leaning back this way. And so that was because I was losing the suction from the engine, and my reservoir must have had a crack in it that was allowing that pressure or that vacuum, that suction, to escape, and then it was letting the spring kind of pull this back to the default position. So then when I would stop accelerating, the suction would resume and it would pull it back over to vent. So that was particularly a problem for the rear of the E-Series van, because it kind of works in a binary way where there's either you're going through the vent and it's cold air, or you're going through the floor and it's hot air. So in the hot summer months, we'd have the AC blasting, and I would start accelerating just to get up to speed, and this would go to floor. The rear would switch to heat, and then the kids would say, "Hey Dad, why's the heat on?" I would turn it off, and I would still feel cold air blowing through my vents up front because the front works differently. And then whenever I would stop accelerating, it would regain the suction power, pull it back to vent, and then I could turn the AC back on. Eventually, that just failed altogether, and it stayed on floor and defrost all the time. So probably because this check valve died as well, or some other crack in the system. But this section here with the check valve and this reservoir are buried deep underneath the engine compartment, underneath things that are very difficult to take out. It is not really meant to be serviced by your average automotive owner. So they've hidden this away in a really bad spot. So when I first watched the first video on how to do this, and the guy mentioned bypassing the system altogether and tucking it up under the dash, I thought that was ridiculous, and there was no way I was going to do that, because I want to always fix things the right way if at all possible. I'm here to tell you this is almost impossible. Just don't bother trying to locate it in the factory position and get to it to reinstall it where it came. Instead, just basically cut off this system. We're going to disconnect the hose here before it gets to the check valve, and disconnect the hose here before it gets to the actual actuator, and then we're going to relocate the system where you saw, I believe, the best place to put it, up under the foot of the passenger side, because you have really easy access through the fender well to route this around and go through the fender well, and the vacuum hose is going to be protected in there. It's not going to get anywhere near the door where the hinge is opening and shutting because of that really nice rubber grommet that we're able to bypass through. And then you're able to plug this back in, and there's also a really great spot to hang this canister too. So, you know, hang that reservoir up under there as well. So I think just having a better understanding for how this system works helps when you're trying to solve something, and that's true of any problem that you're trying to solve, is when you understand how the system actually works, instead of just having a checklist of, I'm going to follow these 4 steps and then it's going to start working again, you can actually make decisions of where you need to locate things, and which components are important, and which components can you bypass, and is it a problem that you're leaving this system abandoned underneath. And having an understanding of how the system works helps you make better decisions as you're going through the problem solving process. So I found this incredibly helpful and incredibly valuable. So hopefully this has been helpful for you as well, so you can understand, not only get your E-Series van back up and working so you're getting cold AC through the vents again, especially in the rear, but now you understand how the system works and why it works that way. And so I think that's incredibly valuable. So if you found this helpful and would like to see more like this, then I'd appreciate it if you subscribe. I'll try to do more of these videos in the future. If you could leave a comment requesting more of these, or saying that you enjoyed this, that would be super helpful as well. And also give it a thumbs up, so that way I know that this kind of content is stuff that resonates with you guys and stuff you'd like to see more of. So as I run into more automotive products or projects that I'm working on around the house, home projects that I'm trying to fix, I can go through kind of the explanation process of how the system works and why the fix we're putting in place works and why I chose that, if that's content that you would find helpful and would actually watch. So as always, thanks for watching. I certainly appreciate it.